Ladies and gentlemen, lox and bagels, gather around. Today we're diving deep into one of the most spiritual, profound, and delicious relationships known to humankind, Judaism and the Deli. Because let's face it, there's something truly divine. There's something truly divine about the way Jews and delis go together. It's a bond as unbreakable as matzah during Passover. No, really, try breaking that stuff. You'll need a hammer. Okay, that is how ChatGPT wanted me to start the talk. And it really did not get much better from there. So the rest is up to me. The second day Sukkot sermon is the perfectly punctuated pontification, prosaically performed periodically, meaning once a year, to ponderously and purposefully pluck the parameters and paradigms of pickled pleasantries, peculiar plates, and piquant palates. Thank you, right? It's good to know I'm a little bit better than ChatGPT. So I dedicate this exploration of the heights of Jewish deli to our beloved Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi William David Rudolph, Zichrono Livracha, and to the fresser of all fressers, David Levine, also of blessed memory, and thank you to David Bacharach for sponsoring today's festivities. Now, if my theology allowed, I would be confident that Rabbi Rudolph and Dave Levine would be sitting together right now in a corner booth at the Deli on high, enjoying this moment of fun, frivolity, and truly Zman Simchatenu. After all, Rabbi Rudolph started this tradition because we are commanded to truly make this our season of joy. And unless you are the cow, then deli is truly a delight. And Rabbi Rudolph and Dave both understood that no matter how dire the world looks, we must find joy and a schmear to regain a smile on our face. And what would the name of the deli that they would be dining in on high? Obviously, Cantor's. Cantor's is the famous Los Angeles deli, which opened in 1931. And according to its own publicity, this culinary landmark is lovingly managed by the third and fourth generations of the Cantor family, who take a hands-on approach to ensuring the highest quality in every aspect of the restaurant, whether it's the freshly baked breads or the famous house-made pickles. Cantor's always goes the extra mile, they say so themselves, to provide the authentic traditional Jewish deli experience, which helped grow the restaurant from a small storefront to the massive operation that it is today. Their website says so. So while Cantor's has been around for 90 years, it is hard to be a Cantor. Right? Right. I mean, Cantor's Deli is no longer kosher, and this one's a vegan. But just, thank you. But just look at the deli menu. There's the lox, eggs, and onions, classically known as the Leo, right? But across from the menu is the honey ham steak and eggs. Exactly. The deli omelet, which has diced corned beef, pastrami, salami, and Munster cheese, is our own Ricardo Munster in on this conspiracy. All those items come with a bagel, a roll, or English muffin, and a choice of potatoes, tomatoes, cottage cheese, or fruit salad, and there's a full options of upcharges as well. It's hard to be a deli. We have seen our share of delis spoil. Hofburg's Deli, Katz's Deli, Krupin's all had long runs. But even DC's kosher establishments get sent to Azazel. I love the deli experience, not only because I'm a big pastrami fan, but because it is so much more than just a restaurant. Remember, I checked in with ChatGPT and it wrote a section titled "The Deli Counter, a Sacred Place." I kind of liked it. I am amazed at like how much the computer can do, because Deli is a cultural sacred place. It wrote, "There's no better place to experience Jewish culture in its natural habitat than at the deli counter. There's a certain reverence when you approach the counter, like you're walking up to the bima on Yom Kippur. You can almost hear the angelic chorus of pickles and brisket as you approach, looking up at the chalkboard menu like it's the Torah scroll. Do I go with the pastrami on rye, or am I feeling more like corned beef today? This is not a small question," ChatGPT writes. "This is Deli Torah. And just like any rabbinical debate, there's no right answer, just a lot of opinions from people around you." Deli Torah. I like that phrase. Right? But I assure you, the last thing I was trying to think about last Saturday night at Ne'ilah was how the open ark was just like the deli counter. I mean, I was thinking about a delicious kugel, though, but also ChatGPT got the rabbinic debate part wrong. Pastrami and corned beef is not Hillel and Shammai. Right? Pastrami is 100% the right answer over corned beef, 100% of the time. Add a quality spicy mustard, also known as a deli mustard, and Avinu Malkeinu, it is a delight. So now I understand that if you were a Jew in Dublin or Galway or Limerick, Ireland, the answer might be different. They may prefer corned beef, and good for them. According to the trusted source Wikipedia, Mark Kurlansky, in his book titled Salt, stated that the Irish produced a salted beef around the Middle Ages that was the forerunner of what today is known as Irish corned beef. And in the 17th century, the English named the Irish salted beef corned beef. So that's the origins of it. And Kurlansky should know, Wikipedia also says that he wrote the 1997 book Cod, a biography of the fish that changed the world. And it was an international bestseller, was translated into more than 15 languages. So has anyone read Salt or Cod? Yes? Okay, you read both of them. Excellent. They were good. Okay. So, I like to sneak in just enough actual facts in here to confuse you, right? And yes, there is an actual city in Ireland named Limerick. And I don't want to disappoint you. Yes, I have a limerick for you. There once was a man in the deli who loved to stack meats in his belly. With pastrami on rye, he reached for the sky, but his pants got too tight for the telly. Okay, that was a little ChatGPT too. So, but enough of the tongue-in-cheek humor. Seriously, how many people have been to the new Capitol Jewish Museum downtown? Okay, not enough. It really, right. So Sarah, Shosh, and I went with Shosh's friend, Emmy. It was a terrific museum. I mean, really, you should go. Whose focus is not on the vast scope of Jewish history, but really specifically to our history of the Jewish community here in the DMV. And I really liked it. And of course, the exhibit of Deli just closed. It was called "I'll Have What She's Having," from the great line in the movie When Harry Met Sally. I like the exhibit. Pulled from the exhibit website, its focus was to explore how American Jews imported traditions, adapted culture, and built community through the experience of food. In addition to showing how the Jewish deli forged an entirely new, quintessentially American cuisine by combining Central and Eastern European dishes with ingredients abundantly available here in America. The exhibit traces the larger arc of the Jewish experience in the U.S. during the 20th century. On view were store signs and menus, advertisements, fixtures, historical footage, film, and television clips. and artifacts that illuminate how delicatessens evolved from specialty stores catering to immigrant populations into the beloved national institutions they are today, right? Confusing you with facts, right? And it left me feeling nostalgic and hungry for some rugelach. It made me miss kosher delis because while we have Wagshall's in DC and Woodside in Silver Spring and Gemelli's in Gaithersburg, none are kosher. I still have to jump on the vamoose and make my way up to Ben's Deli or 2nd Avenue Deli in New York for kosher heartburn. But not all is lost. For those with more flexible culinary choices, yeah, that's a nice way of saying that those that eat treif. So last April, Jessica Sidman, food editor of the Washingtonian magazine, wrote this: DC has never really been a deli town. And while there are places to find deli-style sandwiches, the few New York-style Jewish delis that exist, like Atman's and Parkway Deli, right? Oohs and ahs, right? Delicious. For like breakfast foods, let's be clear, right? Are mostly scattered in the suburbs. For whatever reason, our city is void of this important thing that makes a city, in my opinion, restaurateur Jason Berry says. So he, and I love his company's name, Need Hospitality, right? K-N-E-A-D, Need Hospitality, right? Partner Michael Regenbogen, whose restaurants include Mi Vida, Succotash, Gadsby. Anyone been to any of those? They're all down at the wharf? Okay, well, that's where he's doing. This is also close there, okay? So Mi Vida, Succotash, and Gatsby and others sought out to create their own destination for corned beef and knishes. And so they opened Beresovsky's Deli in Navy Yard across from Nationals Park. So has anyone been there? No? Okay, I am not asking what you would have ordered. I am sure it would have been for a friend. But while unfortunately the Nat season is over, I am sure that the deli seasoning will stay with you a lot longer. I know deli puns are always cheesy, but it is part of the tradition for this sermon. So to be clear, if you have been waiting for a point, an insight, or a pumpernickel recipe in this sermon, you will be disappointed. Across the counter, the point of today is simple: joy. It is so we uplift joy. And you know what the baby corn said to its mom? Where is my popcorn? No. Or what do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Or why couldn't the sesame seed leave the casino? This is for Dave Bacharach. Right? Why couldn't the sesame seed leave the casino? Because he was on a roll. Yeah. And for the music lovers, you know Max Weinberg, right? He's the famous percussionist for Springsteen's E Street Band and The Tonight Show. What's his favorite dinner? Drumsticks. Yeah, I know. But we're getting close to the time for the closing time for the sermon. And I know many of you have been thinking about all the food that you have eaten at breakfast and in the sukkah in the last days. You are ready to hit the gym to beef up. But I have mustered up the courage for a final story, which I know you will relish. There's this classic story about a man who walks into a famous Jewish deli in New York. He sits down and a no-nonsense waitress walks over with her pad and pen. And without even saying hello, she says, "What'll it be?" And the man, not from the city and wanting to make a good impression, confidently says, "I'll have a pastrami on rye, please." The please, I think, was the giveaway. The waitress scribbles something down and pauses, staring at him skeptically. "You sure about that?" Well, a little nervous now that the man nods and says, "Yeah, why?" She looks at him and says, "Look, I've been here 20 years. I've seen people come and go, tourists and locals, the works. And in all that time, the one thing I've learned is this: nobody ever just orders the pastrami. They get the matzo ball soup, the pickles, maybe a knish on the side. You want just the sandwich? Feeling the pressure, the man caves. Okay, I'll take all of it, whatever you recommend. So the waitress nods approvingly, scribbles a lot more on her pad, and walks off. 10 minutes later, she returns with a tray the size of a small table. Steaming pastrami on rye, a bowl of matzo ball soup, a pile of pickles, coleslaw, a knish, black and white cookie, just to top it off. And the man stares in awe at the feast in front of him. How am I supposed to eat all of this, he asks. And without missing a beat, the waitress says, you wanted to make a good impression. Start with the soup. It'll impress your stomach first. So friends, I hope I've left you with a good impression. Let's hope that the new year is filled with many times of joy, surrounded by tables filled with bounty and laughter and lightheartedness. And with God's help, I am ready to prepare 101 extra plates of deli at any moment. And maybe those at our table and those we keep in our prayers feel a Sukkot Shlomecha, a shelter of peace at this time. Rav Nachman of Braslov said, Simcha, joy, is a state of consciousness that puts one in touch with the healthy energy in the universe. If that is so, let this Zman Simchatenu bring our prayers and pleas to the highest places of the universe. And may peace be upon us soon, because lately we've been tasting way too much of the sauerkraut. Chag Sameach.